Over time, there have been a lot of reports linking Aaron Rodgers to the San Francisco 49ers, and now that the offseason is officially here, the rumors are hot once again. And we saw in the NFC Championship game that San Francisco is a dynamic quarterback away from hoisting their sixth Lombardi trophy. So if you want the 49ers to make a deal for Aaron Rodgers this offseason, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, and let's dive into these 49ers rumors. Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior. Before we get to this discussion on Aaron Rodgers, today's show is presented to you by our friends at Manscaped. Aaron Rodgers throws a really pretty football. If you want to pretty up your balls prior to Valentine's Day, you can do so with the best men's grooming products, and in the process, get 20% off and free shipping by going to manscaped.com/49ers. I'm going to put that link in the comment section as well as the description of this video. Now, as I mentioned off the top, this really goes back to last offseason. There were a lot of rumblings about San Francisco being interested in one of the best quarterbacks of all time in Aaron Rodgers, and that feeling being mutual between the Niners and Aaron Rodgers. This most recent rumor and discussion coming from Mike Greenberg of ESPN. He said this the other day on Get Up. I'm going to bring up Brooklyn Nets star Kevin Durant. If you can't beat him, join him. And you know what? Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors because he couldn't get through them. I think Rodgers is going to go to San Francisco. Go ahead. He's 0-4 against them in the playoffs. That's his hometown. He grew up in Northern California. They should have drafted him #1 all those years ago. Let's right that wrong. Fascinating quote to come from Mike Greenberg. Now, this isn't necessarily a report. This is just a dialogue that he had on that show, once again linking Aaron Rodgers to the Bay Area. So could A-Rod realistically go to the Bay? And could the 49ers bring the kid home? He grew up in Chico, California. He also grew up idolizing San Francisco, Joe Montana, and Steve Young, the glory years of this franchise, as he got to see the franchise hoist many Lombardi trophies. He played collegiately at Cal after going through the JUCO ranks, and we all know about the 2005 NFL Draft. Let's do a little revisionist history here. So the 49ers had the #1 overall pick. They elected to not go with the hometown kid in Aaron Rodgers and instead draft Alex Smith out of Utah after he was coached by Urban Meyer and had an illustrious collegiate career. Rodgers then slipped all the way down the draft board to number 24 in the NFL draft, where eventually he took over for Brett Favre, but he has always hinted at wanting to play for San Francisco. It's easy to see why. The path is certainly there. This is Aaron Rodgers as a young buck, rocking the scarlet, red, and gold as a youngster, growing up as a 49ers fan. And according to those close in his camp, and according to many reports, which we'll break down here in a few moments on today's show, there's always been that linkage between Rodgers and San Francisco. Now, after the 49ers elected to pass on him in the 2005 NFL Draft, he was asked about that disappointment, and he said a classic Aaron Rodgers tidbit. Not as disappointed as the 49ers will be that they didn't draft me. And for San Francisco, it would have worked out a lot better had they have taken Aaron Rodgers over Alex Smith. Alex Smith, after a rocky start to his NFL career in the Bay Area, of course, led this team to some success. Under Jim Harbaugh, he was eventually replaced by Colin Kaepernick. And while Alex Smith had a very good career, he didn't have the career of Aaron Rodgers, who, in my opinion, is the most gifted. Not necessarily the best. That goes to Tom Brady. The most gifted quarterback I have ever seen. And at 38 years old, I think he has some gas left in the tank, and this 49ers roster ready to compete for a Super Bowl right now, as evidenced by them being in the Final Four this year and the second NFC Championship game in 3 years. So I want to gauge where the faithful is at. What is on the minds of the Niner Empire? Do you think the San Francisco 49ers, with Trey Lance on the roster, with Jimmy Garoppolo under contract for 1 more year, should do the deal? Get into the comments section and let me know. We talked about Tom Brady last week, 1,100 comments. Can we overtake that number on today's show? Hey, your opportunity to do that and be a part of the movement. Type D for do the deal, L for you want Trey Lance. Get those votes in the comment section down below. And while you're at it, make sure you subscribe to the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. We are less than 200 people away from 55,000 subscribers. In the month of January, well over 1 million people tuned into the channel as we are the largest 49ers news and rumors channel on YouTube. Free daily videos, weekly live shows, watch parties during the year. When a rumor comes to light, we got you covered. When breaking news happens, we're faster than everybody else. Hit that red subscribe button down below. Aaron Rodgers, folks, certainly can still play, and I think he's on his way to his second consecutive MVP nod. That would be his fourth in his Hall of Fame career. This year with Green Bay, completed 69% of his passes, more than 4,100 yards, threw 37 touchdowns to just 7 interceptions, and the average yards per completion truly elite. Every time he completed a pass, it went for a first down. Here's the problem with Aaron Rodgers, and there are a couple of those issues that we'll break down here. He's 38 years old. He's talked about retirement. Most importantly, though, it would take an absolute haul for San Francisco to trade for the discount double-check king. Like, if Green Bay were to trade Aaron Rodgers, who is still a top 2, top 3 quarterback in today's NFL, especially with Tom Brady retiring, Green Bay might hit up John Lynch and say, we want either Jimmy Garoppolo and or Trey Lance. You know what? Deebo Samuel, the Yak King, as the wide back, accounted for, 14, 15 touchdowns this year combined, rushing and receiving. We want him as well, and another all-pro caliber player on defense. Let's say a Nick Bosa or a Fred Warner. Now, I'm not saying all of those players would be involved in a trade in addition to draft capital, but there's no question that Green Bay would try to have its leverage over San Francisco and ask for a haul in exchange for Aaron Rodgers. Here's the predicament that San Francisco is in right now. You look at the roster. They are loaded with premier players, and they are ready to win right now. And there are players on this team who can help lift this team to a Super Bowl who are getting a little bit older, and there's also a good combination of that with some youth. But this team is ready to compete for a Lombardi trophy, and can you compete for a Super Bowl with the quarterback who only started 2 games this past year in his rookie campaign in Trey Lance, who's somewhat inexperienced, somewhat raw? Kyle Shanahan saying yesterday this offseason he wants Lance to work on his throwing motion. And if the answer to that question is no, could Kyle Shanahan get desperate and elect to pull the trigger on Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers and Kyle Shanahan's offense would just light the league on fire. San Francisco's offense would be borderline unstoppable. And Kyle Shanahan is at a point where he got a quarter close to winning a Super Bowl back in 2019. This year, he was a more dynamic quarterback away from once again getting into the Super Bowl. And I think San Francisco could have beaten the Cincinnati Bengals. So could Kyle Shanahan get desperate? And if he is, does he decide to pull the trigger on Aaron Rodgers? What would you give up for Rodgers if you're in the shoes of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan? I want you to get creative in the comment section and put together a trade package for Rodgers. Maybe it'll get featured on a future show. Get those trade packages in for Rodgers in the comment section right now. Now, when Aaron Rodgers steps back and throws the football, you kind of just watch and marvel at that ball spinning through the air. I kind of do the same thing when I look in the mirror, thanks to our friends at Manscaped, because I'm not Scary Harry down below the belt. You can get 20% off and free shipping on the best men's grooming products by going to manscaped.com/49ers and enter the promo code 49ers. The Lawnmower 4.0 can do it all like Deebo Samuel. An interchangeable blade, a battery life that lasts forever. It's water resistant, so if you drop this mower into the toilet, it'll be able to survive just like some of the 49ers were able to survive throughout a 20-game season this year. And there's a light on it as well, so you can kind of see what you're doing. See what I'm talking about? Get hooked up prior to Valentine's Day and get in line for your significant other by going to manscaped.com/49ers. Enter the promo code 49ers for that deal to apply. Now, throughout today's show, I've talked about those previous reports tying Aaron Rodgers to San Francisco. There were reports over the offseason that the 49ers had pursued Aaron Rodgers and instead settled on Trey Lance. The 49ers were also, according to those same reports, Aaron Rodgers' first choice last year when he was thinking about either retiring, not wanting to play for Green Bay any longer, And now that the 49ers have defeated this guy 4 consecutive times in the playoffs, he's 0-4 against San Francisco. Could that further his want to go to San Francisco and ask for a trade? This is going to be one of those storylines that just dominates the NFL landscape throughout the 2022 NFL offseason. The report a couple months ago from Aaron Rapoport on Rodgers and San Francisco is this. When Rodgers mulled an exit from Green Bay this offseason amid frustration with the team's front office, among other reasons, San Francisco was a key figure. Sources say that the 49ers were Rodgers' top choice when it came to a new destination. And when the 49ers made their phone call to coach Matt LaFleur, it was done because they got word that Rodgers was more than into it. In fact, LaFleur and Niners coach Kyle Shanahan did talk, with LaFleur quickly shutting the door on any possible trade as quickly as it was brought up. This was before San Francisco traded up to number 3 to eventually take Trey Lance. And I can see why the Packers wanted to turn down this potential trade offer. I mean, both teams going into the year were vying for the top spot in the NFC. They were vying for playoff positioning, and LaFleur was probably like, look, I mean, I know Shanahan really well. Rodgers has a lot of gas left in the tank. If we send him to the Bay Area, he's going to put up a bunch of numbers. Why should we help out a team that we're going to be competing against? This is what I do know, moving ahead. If San Francisco were to make this trade, they would automatically become favorites in the NFC. Name a team that would be better equipped to compete for a Lombardi trophy in the NFC than the San Francisco 49ers with Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady is out. The 49ers can take down the Rams. Other than that, there are a lot of quarterback questions in this conference. Aaron Rodgers rocking the scarlet, red, and gold. I love Trey Lance, but if a trade package was feasible, if a trade package was attractive, my gosh, it'd be hard to turn that down, knowing the potential that Rodgers and Shanahan have as a 1-2 punch. So my last question for you. Trading for Aaron Rodgers would be what, according to the audience? Type S for smart, type C for crazy. Once again, get that comment section flowing. As always, thanks for watching today's show, and make sure you subscribe.